Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Kiba, and today for reading we're going to be talking about narration. So the narrator of the story is who is telling your story. So the author, they write the story, and then they have a narrator who tells the story, and the characters act out the story. So the narrator is who is telling your story, and you can find out who the narrator is by looking at the dialogue or the quotation marks. So you guys yesterday learned all about quotation marks and dialogue, and you did a lot of work practicing reading those quotation marks, thinking about the dialogue that your characters were having, and paying attention to who was talking, right? You paid close attention, you read Tough Break, then you paid close attention to that dialogue tag, which told you who was talking. Those are things that say, Sam said, or Max whispered, or however the character said it. That's the dialogue tag, who said the quote. So, two things. If the narrator is one of the characters, which it can be, your narrator can be one of the characters in your story, you'll see the dialogue come from someone in the story. It will be things like we, I, us, or me. So they're talking about something that has happened to them, right? So they would say, we went to the birthday party, I said. It's going to be something that involves a character in the story. But if your narrator is not one of the characters in your story, the dialogue will name the character. It will say things like the character's name, he, they, she. So it might be like, we're going to the pool, Max said. So it's not going to be something that's actually happening to the narrator. The narrator is not a character in the story. Nothing is happening to the narrator. The narrator is not going to the swimming pool or the birthday party or whatever is happening. So I want you to really remember, if the narrator is one of your characters, this is a really easy chart. If the narrator is not one of your characters, it's going to have the character's name, he, they, or she. And if the narrator is one of your characters, it's going to say we, us, I, or me, something that's happening to them personally. So today, you guys are going to read Tough Break again. Such a good story. I know, we've been loving that all week. And I want you to really think about who is the narrator or who is telling your story. So I want you to read Tough Break. Think about who's the narrator, and you're going to ask yourself, is the narrator one of my characters in the story? And how do I know? So you can find that out by paying attention to the dialogue and who is speaking. So and I want you to finish this sentence. The dialogue uses the word blank, so I know the narrator is or is not a character. So you're going to tell me, maybe you saw in the dialogue tag that the narrator used we. And so you said, oh my gosh, I know that my narrator is one of the characters in my story because the dialogue tag had we in it. It did not say they, so I know that the narrator is one of my characters. So let's look at a page from Tough Break. It says, when he saw the doctor, Duke asked. Okay, I know that Duke asked something. That's my dialogue tag. And because it used one of my character's names, let me go back to my chart. It used a character's name. So that means that's telling me that the narrator is not one of the characters in my story. The narrator is just someone else telling the story, and it is not one of my characters. Nothing happened to the narrator in the story. So I want you guys to just read Tough Break and pay attention to who the narrator is and who is telling the story by looking at the quotation marks and the dialogue tags. Okay, I know you guys are going to do awesome with this. And don't forget, whoever you're reading with, it's really awesome to take apart and act out that dialogue because it really brings the story to life and helps you think about who might be telling that story. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a good one.